Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing a complete brake flush on this 2014 BMW R1200GS. If you have any other viewer video suggestions, please mention it in the comments below. And also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get started. So we will start with the rear brake. So the first thing we're going to do is take the cap off our rear brake reservoir just above the rear brake pedal on the right side of the engine. Next, we will suck all the old brake fluid out. So in order to do that, I like to use these remote control car containers. They're nice and flexible, and they easily handle the brake fluid. So you can just suck the old fluid out, just like that. And then we will throw brand new fluid in. We'll just fill that up right to the top. So now we are at the rear brake caliper. So what you're gonna do is remove the little rubber cap exposing your rear brake bleeder. So this is your rear brake bleeder right there. So at the rear brake caliper here, here's the bleeder. We're gonna use an 11mm wrench, and this is where it would pay to have a friend. But if you're like me and you don't have any friends, what we're gonna do is put our brake bleeder on there, and then we're gonna reach around the bike, depress the rear brake pedal with our right hand, and simultaneously loosen the brake bleeder with your left hand. So you're going to pump the brake pedal up, then hold pressure on the rear brake pedal, loosen the rear brake bleeder, and then we're gonna connect a hose. We're gonna drain brake fluid into a suitable container, and we're just gonna keep doing it until the brake fluid starts coming out nice and clean. So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna have my left hand on the brake bleeder. I'm gonna pump up the rear brake pedal with my right hand. I'm gonna firmly hold pressure down on the rear brake pedal, crack the bleeder loose, then you'll feel with your right hand the brake pedal depress, and right when it hits the bottom, you're gonna close the brake bleeder, and then you can release your right hand off the brake pedal. Then we're gonna repeat that 3, 4, 5 times until the brake fluid that we see coming through this hose starts looking nice and clean. So we'll pump up the rear brake pedal, open the bleeder, close the bleeder, release the rear brake pedal, and repeat. And then once we have 100% confidence that there's no air bubbles in the system and it's all flushed with clean fluid, we can go ahead and replace the brake bleeder cover. And then we can top up our rear brake fluid reservoir right to the max line. Right on the side of the reservoir, you can see the markings. So we'll fill it right up. And now we can replace, in this order, our little rubber diaphragm here. Shove that in there. And then on top of that goes this plastic piece. And then on top of that, we'll push that all down evenly. And then on top of that goes the cap. Then we'll just tighten that up. Doesn't need to be super tight, but just snug. So now, similar to what we did on the rear brake reservoir, we're gonna be removing the top reservoir cap. These screws holding the reservoir cap on are a T20 Torx. Then we're gonna lift the cover up off after we have all 4 screws, take this diaphragm out, then we'll suck out that nasty fluid in there. We will then refill the reservoir with clean .4 fluid. We'll just fill this up right to the top. We will then repeat the same thing on the left caliper. So we will remove our bleed screw cap, Use an 8mm wrench, install that onto the bleeder, and then hook our hose up to that. And then we're gonna have to, this is again where it kind of pays to have a friend, but I don't really have any friends. So I'm gonna reach around the bike with my left hand and then work the brake lever. And with my right hand, I'm going to simultaneously tighten and loosen the bleeder here. So, let's bust that loose. I'm gonna pump up the brake reservoir with my left hand, loosen it there, and then tighten it. So pump up the brake fluid reservoir with my left hand, loosen the bleeder with my right, the brake lever goes to the handlebar, and then I tighten up the bleeder here. We can now top off our front brake fluid reservoir and then reinstall our rubber diaphragm and top reservoir cap. And then we're going to tighten all those down just with a T20 Torx, and these do not need to be tight. If you over tighten them, you'll crack the plastic cover here. Thank you for following along. If this video helped you out in any way, please consider subscribing to my Patreon account. As always, have a safe ride.